What began quietly with club gigs and raw ambitions slowly evolved into one of the most influential stories in rock history, shaped as much by brotherhood as by tension, control, and inevitable fracture. The journey truly accelerated when Ronnie Hawkins spotted promise in a young group grinding it out on stage, eventually managing Richard Manuel's band and persuading him to join the Hawks in 1961, though the hardest member to recruit was Garth Hudson, a college-trained musician who viewed rock and roll as a side pursuit rather than a life plan, agreeing to join only if the others paid him weekly for music lessons, bought him a top-of-the-line Lowry organ, and deferred all theory questions to him, a structure that quietly set the tone for what would come later. Under Hawkins, the Hawks became a fearsome live act in Toronto, rehearsing endlessly through grueling overnight sessions that sharpened their precision but drained their freedom, and over time the rules piled up, creativity felt restricted, and by late 1963 they broke away, cycling through names and near-misses as they searched for an identity of their own. That search ended abruptly in 1965 when Bob Dylan, determined to electrify his sound and shatter his folk prophet image, chose them as his backing band, insisting not on session players but on a real, unified group tough enough to absorb the backlash alongside him. Loyalty defined them then. Robbie Robertson and Levon Helm made it clear Dylan would take all of them or none, and once the tour began, they were thrust into one of the most hostile chapters in music history, booed nightly, heckled relentlessly, and treated like accomplices to a cultural crime as Dylan leaned on amphetamines to survive the pace and some of the band followed him into excess. The pressure broke Helm first. Unable to endure the hostility, he vanished mid-tour to work on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico, marking the first quiet fracture, while the rest carried on through stalled studio sessions, mounting frustration, and the infamous 1966 Manchester show where a single word, Judas, turned the concert into open confrontation. 2 months later, Dylan's motorcycle accident halted everything, sending him into seclusion and leaving the Hawks drifting until he called them back in 1967 to Woodstock, where loose, unguarded basement sessions reshaped modern music and allowed the group to finally step out from Dylan's shadow. By 1968, they embraced the name everyone already used, the band, and success arrived fast, but it did not land evenly. As acclaim grew, Robertson took on more leadership and creative control, which he believed was necessary to keep the group afloat, while others, especially Helm, felt power tightening and something essential slipping away. Addiction deepened, reliability faded, resentment simmered unspoken, and even as albums and tours continued, fame sharpened every difference rather than healing it. By the mid-1970s, exhaustion replaced momentum, touring felt dangerous, and after injuries, shrinking venues, and mounting concern, Robertson pushed for a definitive ending, resulting in the Last Waltz in 1976, a grand farewell filmed by Martin Scorsese that appeared celebratory to the public but felt imposed to others within the band. The film captured brilliance, but it also captured decay, hollowed faces, visible addiction, and a group burning from the inside, and when the lights went down, the fractures did not heal, they hardened. Loss followed, Richard Manuel's death in 1986, Rick Danko's in 1999, and decades of silence between Robertson and Helm, who once felt like brothers but could not bridge the bitterness until a quiet hospital visit near the very end. Helm died in 2012, Robertson in 2023, leaving no clean resolution, only music that outlived them both. Robertson never accepted the word feud, believing what defined his relationship with Helm was something deeper and messier. Two men bound by brotherhood, drugs, ambition, and incompatible visions of control, neither entirely right, neither entirely wrong, who did not destroy each other so much as outlive the version of themselves that once fit together. In the end, the story did not close with a final argument or dramatic blow-up, but with time running out, silence settling in, and a legacy that proved some bonds don't break loudly, they simply fade, leaving behind music strong enough to carry what words never could.